Hi, my name is Dee. In this video, you'll learn how to export your offering setup. You need the Application Implementation Consultant role to perform this task. Before you can export, you must first set up your offering as described in the Setting Up Offerings tutorial. To start, go to Setup and Maintenance. You've completed setting up Project Execution Management, and now you're ready to migrate your setup to another environment. Create a new export process. Typically, you'll export all setup data of the offering and therefore select Submit. However, you may decide to filter and export a partial set of setup data. The Scope Enabled column shows which setup data could be filtered. For example, you set up many business units, but you want to only export Vision Operations. So you select Business Unit from the list and then select Add. Search for and select Vision Operations. If you wanted to limit the export to more than one business unit, you would continue to search and apply each of those business units. Once you have the correct list, save and close. Setup of the business units shown in the list will be exported. If you want to filter any other scope-enabled setups for your export, repeat the same steps for those business objects. Once you've completed specifying all filtering criteria for your export, submit the process. Once you submit the export process, you get a confirmation. The status of the export process is displayed on the Setup page. Continue to watch the status until the process completes. Once the export completes successfully, the latest export status shows ready for download. Go to the Export Offering Data Results to download the export file. Review the summary of the process. Since this process completed successfully, you can start to download the export file. If the exported offering has set up tasks for which data will not be migrated through the export and import process, they're listed here. You have to perform those tasks manually. You must pay particular attention to those that are recommended as before import. Typically, they are prerequisites of other setups, so if you start the import process on the other environment without performing these tasks first, your import will fail. You can download and review a report of the manual tasks if needed. If errors are returned, the Business Objects table is displayed and the Status Details column shows you the details of the errors encountered. You would have to review the errors and take the appropriate actions to correct them. Since your export does not have any errors, you can download the export file. The file name is the same as the export process name. When the download completes, you're ready to import the setup into your other instance. If setup data of a functional area changes in the future, you might prefer to migrate only the changed setups rather than the setup of the entire offering. For example, after your initial export, setup of only Project Execution has changed, which you need to migrate. Therefore, you select the Project Execution functional area and then create a new export process. The export process will work the same as described for the offering, but will limit the exported setup to the selected functional area. Watch the Import Offering Setup video next to learn how to import setup data from the exported file. Thanks for watching!